Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Used to say risk is necessary for success. Clinical trials show that innovation requires risk. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, idiom. Used to say that it is worth trying something, even if you may not succeed. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, trying the new experimental method yielded valuable data. Novelty, new thing. Something new or unusual. The gadget was initially popular as a novelty. Novelty, quality. The state of being new or unusual. Novelty can stimulate dopamine release in the brain. Number, be an amount. To total a particular quantity. The samples numbered over 1,000. Nurse, verb. To care for someone who is ill. Nurses monitor vital signs continuously. Obligatory, expected. Required or expected by rule. Safety training is obligatory in laboratories. Obscene, sex. Sexually offensive or shocking. Obscene content is restricted in academic publishing. Obscene, too large. Shockingly excessive in amount. An obscene level of waste damages ecosystems. Observant. Quick to notice things. Observant clinicians detect early symptoms. Observe, obey. To follow a rule or law. Researchers must observe ethical guidelines. Observer. A person who watches without participating. An independent observer ensured fairness. Obsessive. Excessively preoccupied with something. Obsessive behavior can impair decision-making. Occupation, control. Military control of a territory. Occupation disrupts civilian infrastructure. Oddly. In a strange way. Oddly, the results contradicted predictions. Odds and ends. A group of small objects of different types which are not valuable or important. The drawer contained odds and ends like paperclips, rubber bands, and broken pens. Odds and ends. Miscellaneous small items. The drawer contained odds and ends. Odor. A smell often unpleasant. Chemical reactions can produce odor. Of your own accord. You choose to do it and no one else forces you. The participant withdrew from the trial of their own accord, although continuation was encouraged. Of your own accord. By personal choice. Participants volunteered of their own accord. Off, stopped. No longer operating. The machine is off to save energy. Off limits. Not allowed to be entered or used. The contaminated zone was declared off limits to civilians. Off limits. Not allowed to be entered. The lab is off limits without clearance. Off the beaten track. Far from usual places. Remote sites reveal unique biodiversity. Off the beaten track, idiom. In a place where few people go. The field study was conducted off the beaten track in a remote rainforest. Offer, payment. An amount proposed for payment. The company made an offer for the patent. Official, job duties. Related to authority duties. Official procedures ensure compliance. Official, known. Publicly recognized. The findings became official. Official, not true. Given but not necessarily true. The official explanation lacked data. Official, noun. A person with authority. A government official approved the plan. Off-putting. Slightly unpleasant or discouraging. Excessive jargon is off-putting to readers. Offset. To counterbalance an effect. Exercise can offset stress. Offspring. A child or young animal. Offspring inherit genetic traits. Omission. Something left out unintentionally. Data omission affects accuracy. On, performing. Actively performing. The system is on during testing. On hand or to hand, countable noun. Near to someone or something and ready to help or be used when necessary. The lab equipment was on hand for the emergency experiment. On hand to hand. Nearby and ready for use. First aid kits were kept on hand. On impulse. Suddenly and without thinking first. She bought the microscope on impulse despite already having one. On impulse. Acting suddenly without thought. Buying equipment on impulse can waste funds. On no account. Under no circumstances. On no account mix chemicals unsafely. On no account, not on any account. Not for any reason or in any situation. On no account should experimental data be modified, since reproducibility depends on accuracy. On occasions. Sometimes but not often. Equipment may fail on occasion. On principle. Because of moral belief. He refused on principle to falsify data. On principle. Refusing because morally wrong. She declined the offer on principle. On the dot. At that exact time. The meeting with the principal investigator started at 9 a.m. on the dot. On the dot. Exactly at a time. The experiment started at 9 on the dot. On the face of it. Judging only by appearance. On the face of it the results appeared reliable. On the face of it, idiom. Used when you are describing how a situation seems on the surface. On the face of it, the experiment appeared successful, though further tests were needed. On the part of SB done or experienced by someone. Errors occurred on the part of the operator. On the part of SB done or caused by someone. The error was on the part of the operator. On the side. In addition to main work. She teaches on the side. On the side. In addition to your main job. She conducted small lab experiments on the side while completing her PhD. On the spot. Immediately. The technician fixed the fault on the spot. On the spot, idiom. Immediately. The technician was asked to fix the issue on the spot. On the spur of the moment. Done suddenly without planning. The decision was made on the spur of the moment. On the spur of the moment. Done without planning. The decision was made on the spur of the moment. On the spur of the moment, idiom. If you do something on the spur of the moment, you do it suddenly, without planning it. They decided to visit the lab on the spur of the moment. On the threshold of STH. At the beginning of a new stage. The field is on the threshold of innovation. On the threshold of STH, phrase. At the start of a new and important time or development. The research team was on the threshold of a major breakthrough, once and for all. Completely and finally. The issue was resolved once and for all. One of a kind. Completely different from other people or things. The newly discovered dinosaur fossil is one of a kind. One of a kind. Completely unique. The specimen is one of a kind. Ongoing. Still continuing. The trial is ongoing. Only. Used to limit or qualify a statement. The model works only it needs calibration. Only so much many. Having limits. There is only so much data available. Only so much many. Used to say that there are limits to something. There are only so many reagents available for this experiment. Open, honest. Not hiding feelings. Open communication improves teamwork. Open, not secret. Public and known. The findings are open to scrutiny. Open to abuse, criticism. Likely to be misused or criticized. The policy is open to abuse. Open up. Begin to share feelings. Patients may open up during counseling. Open your heart. Share deepest feelings. He opened his heart to a colleague. Open your heart, idiom. To tell someone your secret thoughts and feelings. During the workshop, the students opened their hearts about their research challenges. Opening, hole. A gap something passes through. Air flows through the opening. Openness. Honesty and transparency. Openness builds trust in science. Optimism. Belief that good things will happen. Optimism improves resilience. Or else. Used to compare two different things or situations. The experiment must follow the protocol exactly, or else the results will be invalid. Or else. Otherwise. Submit the form or else access is denied. Ordeal. A very unpleasant experience. Recovery was an ordeal. Order, correct behavior. Obedience to rules. Order is essential in society. Organ, music. Large keyboard instrument. The organ produces sound through pipes. Orientation, beliefs. General beliefs or attitudes. Political orientation shapes views. Orientation, training. Preparation for a role. New staff attend orientation. Originate from. To come from or begin. The virus originated from animals. Ornament. Decorative object. The vase is an ornament. Orphan. A child without parents. The orphan received support. Orthodox, idea. Generally accepted idea. The theory is orthodox. Orthodox, religion. Traditional religious beliefs. Orthodox practices follow tradition. Out, far away. Far from land or home. The ship sailed out to sea. Out of a job. Without a job. Many factory workers were out of a job due to automation. Out of a job. Without employment. After the closure, many workers were out of a job. Out of place. Not in the correct position. The books were out of place on the shelf. Out of place is position. Not in the correct location. The tool was out of place. Out of place, situation. Not suitable for the situation. His comment felt out of place. Out of proportion. Too large or small compared to others. The reaction was out of proportion. Out of proportion. Much bigger or smaller than it should be. The media reaction was out of proportion to the minor event. Out of season. Outside the usual time of year. The resort is quiet out of season. Out of season, noun. Going somewhere during a period of the year when few people are there. Visiting the botanical garden out of season allowed uninterrupted observation of rare plants. Out of shape. Not physically fit. After illness she was out of shape. Out of shape. Not healthy or physically strong. The lab assistants felt out of shape after weeks of intensive fieldwork. Out of the ordinary. Unusual. The findings were out of the ordinary. Out of the ordinary. Unusual or uncommon. The results were out of the ordinary. Out of the question. Impossible or not allowed. Ignoring safety is out of the question. Out of this world. Extremely good quality. The telescope images were out of this world. Out of your depth. Not having knowledge or skills to deal with something. The novice scientist was out of her depth in advanced quantum mechanics discussions. Out of your depth. Lacking skill or experience. He felt out of his depth in advanced physics. Outbreak. The sudden start of something unpleasant that is difficult to control. The outbreak of the virus prompted immediate public health measures. Outgoing, leaving a place. Leaving a job or going to another place. The outgoing manager handed over responsibilities. Outgoings. Regular money that must be spent. Household outgoings increased due to inflation. Outlet, express. A means of expressing emotions or ideas. Exercise is an outlet for stress. Outlet, shop. A shop selling a specific product or brand. The company opened a new retail outlet. Outline, shape. The outer edge or shape of something. The outline of the mountain was visible. Outlook, thinking. A person's general attitude or way of thinking. Her outlook on science is optimistic. Output. Amount produced. Factory output increased by 10%. Outrage, feeling. Strong anger or shock. The decision caused public outrage. Outrage, thing. An act causing shock or anger. The scandal was an outrage. Outstay, overstay your welcome, verbs noun. To stay somewhere too long so that people want you to leave. They overstay their welcome during collaborative research visits by monopolizing the equipment. Over, about. Connected with or concerning. The debate is over policy. Over, control. In control of or teaching. She is over the project. Over the top. Too extreme. The reaction was over the top. Over the top, adjective. Too extreme and not suitable. The hypothesis was over the top and lacked scientific evidence. Overboard. Off a boat into water. The cargo fell overboard. Overflow, contents. Spill due to excess. The container overflowed. Overflow, people. Contain too many people. The hall was overflowing. Overflow with. Have a lot of equality. She overflowed with confidence. Overhear. Hear unintentionally. She overheard the discussion. Overlap. Share common parts. The two studies overlap. Overload, noun. Too much to handle. Information overload reduces efficiency. Overload, verb. Give too much work. The system was overloaded. Overlook. Fail to notice. An error was overlooked. Overnight, suddenly. Very quickly. The change happened overnight. OSTH2. Be because of someone or something. The discovery owes its success to teamwork. Own up. Admit wrongdoing. He owned up to the mistake.